John Kabbes here. It's our final day of the Great Lakes Grain Crop Assessment Tour. We've been in 600 corn and soybean fields across southern Ontario here the last couple of days. I'm sitting here with Justin Geelen. Justin's one of our merchants here in the Chatham office. Justin's primarily responsible for soybeans. He does participate in corn as well. And Justin, just a couple of questions here. What's you as being a trader here in the office? You know, what is the benefit of doing this crop tour? What's it kind of tell you guys here as you're trying to make plans for fall and next year?
Well, I think one of the benefits is even within the trade, we do get interest from the the other commercial businesses we deal with as far as what our results will be. You know, it's over the past years, we forward out the results to the people we trade with. They always seem interested because they're really no different than us. Yield is a big part of when you're looking at Ontario supply and demand. It's a big piece of the puzzle. So most of us do run a provincial S&D to kind of see what we think if corn or soybeans are going to need to be exported out of the province or imported. It's a good exercise, and this year if corn is going to turn out the way that we're seeing in the field this past week, we'll be on a import basis and need to bring more corn into the province than we export out. And soybeans, we always run a export program on soybeans out of the province, Ocnove D's, and but come the tail end of the year, you might have to see the crushers in Ontario pull beans from Manitoba and New York and Michigan to finish off the crop year if things are a little tight here in Ontario on beans.
And when we take a look at corn, we're probably thinking corn is down some 20-25 bushel, certainly from last year.
Yeah.
We'll likely have to bring corn in at some point in time. And our acres are off a little wee bit too, so that would add to some corn basis. And when might we start to see some of those changes in basis? And we're already seeing some of it already. But.
Yeah, I think our basis here in Ontario is already pretty firm for new crop. We will see corn go out just because sales are already on the books for corn to be exported out, whether it's by truck, and I think a few vessels have been put on as well. So, we will see some go out. So, we'll just have to bring corn in either early on in the year or for sure by later in the year to pick up the slack on the rest of the demand in Ontario.
We had a pretty big wheat crop this year, so that took away from soybean acres. Maybe thinking the soybean yield is kind of, certainly in the south, it's an average yield. How do you see that playing out? A few less acres, probably a few less bushels. How do you see that soybean movement kind of coming through harvest?
Yeah, like I said, I think we'll probably see more beans from Manitoba come in this year. We saw more 2 years ago, not so much this year, but 2 years ago when things were tight, they had to rely on that, and that Manitoba crop just gets bigger and bigger every year on beans too. So I think we'll see some of that. Another question is how many beans we'll export out of the province, Ocnove and Dease, versus the previous few years. I mean, a lot of that business is already on and really needs to be on. I mean, we do need to export beans out of the province, but if they just export too heavily the front half, then the back half you'll need to bring some in.
Right. Well, just one last thing on wheat. Of course, our wheat crop was of good quality, and it's competing head-on with corn. How does that kind of affect our balance sheet on corn? Will it have a big bearing, and how do you see that kind of flowing through?
Yeah, I mean, wheat is being used, in Ontario feed trade here today, but a lot of it's going to depend on the board too. What the board does and how it prices into feed rations. Everybody's a little bit different, but it's if wheat does get either within $10 a ton or or at least to even money, they'll start pulling wheat for sure. So I don't know. I guess we'll see how it happens. There is quite a bit of wheat around to use up as well. So whether it gets exported out at some point or used in the feed trade, I guess we'll see as the year goes on.
Okay, great. That's really all I have for you. We're going to have our results at the Outdoor Farm Show on Tuesday, so come around to the FS booth. It'll also be at the DeKalb booth. We'll have our results from the tour there. Thank you for all everybody that's participated, and we'll talk to you soon.